Welcome to the High Performance Man podcast. I am your host, John Fayocavitz. On this show, I interview successful people who have built impressive careers in businesses, founders, CEOs, and senior leaders, and professionals who have operated at high level for years. We talk about what actually made them successful. The goal is simple: to learn directly from men who have done it, so we can apply those insights into our own careers, businesses, and lives, and continue raising our own standard of performance. The show is sponsored by the Prime Performance Method. The Prime Performance Method is designed specifically for high-performing men who have achieved success in their careers but feel like their body and energy have taken a hit along the way. We help busy professional men regain strength, their energy, and make them feel younger within weeks without long workouts, extreme dieting, or disrupting their demanding schedule. So if you're a high-performing man who wants to feel strong and energized as you are successful, message me, John Fayocavitz, on LinkedIn. On today's show, we have John Martinka, who is the owner and managing member of Nokomis Advisory Services, where he helps clients sell their business. John, welcome so much for coming on today. We're excited to have you.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Great. Okay. My first question, John, is what's the most important lesson you've learned so far that's helped you become successful in your business?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this, and there's a few, but the one that stands out to me uh, is it, I learned from a mentor. If you don't toot your own horn, there's no music. Meaning, every business has to get the word out, has to market themselves. Your business, John, my business, Microsoft, Apple, they all have to do that. And being in business, having a small business, it is not the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
They have to be directed
right,
to your business.
right. Absolutely. Okay, so don't you want to toot your horn.
You got to toot your horn. You can't be bashful. And there is a fine line between uh getting the word out, being positive about what you do, and arrogance. And you don't need to cross that line, but you do
Right.
need to get the word out when you've done something good. And you need your clients to get the word out, your customers, that this is a great place to do business, to buy from, get service, whatever it is.
Now, how many years have you had your business?
It's about 30.
Wow. It's in the same Nokomis?
Yeah. Well, we have a sister company that does some different kind of work that it started out with. So yeah, but all in the same field.
Okay. So when you started it out 30 years ago, did you have this same philosophy?
No, I mean, I knew that you had to do marketing, but that came to me probably about 5 years, 6 years in, with a mentor
Okay.
that I was working with, a business coach.
So you had a mentor as soon as you started to try your new business?
Yeah, I mean, I was up and running, but I knew I needed some help to get it over the next hump. And
Awesome.
that was one of the lessons, many lessons I learned was, there you can't be bashful about getting the word out.
Right. Now, how did you get that word out? Was it marketing? Did you have a marketing strategy or system?
In my case, because our business thrives on
Word of
referrals
mouth?
from trusted advisors, it's getting to know them. So it could be from coffee meetings to lunch meetings. We send out newsletters. I've written books on the subject, everything to get that expertise out.
That's
And when
awesome. So
you
you did a
want
lot of
people
networking in the beginning.
networking, a lot of networking, no advertising.
Okay. Wow. And you built it. How fast did you think you
Well, it never hit like the hockey stick growth like a tech
Mhm.
company and some similar, but it's just been steady over the years.
That's
And my older daughter's been working with me for 8 years now, so
well, that's
that's
good.
been fun.
Well, that's got to be rewarding.
Yeah.
I mean, was she always interested in this field?
No, it was, I got into it through serendipity. A friend said, I've always thought you'd be good at this, or some, statement like that. And the timing was right. And for her, she was looking for a job. I was coaching her on how to go and get a job. And, I at the time had her doing a little back office work, and I had another person or two doing some stuff. And I said, why don't you come to work for me? And I said, you're going to start doing, just a lot of admin, but you have to get out and do some business development. And
Wow.
before I agreed to take her on, I made her, and she will tell you the same thing. I made her talk to 8 or 10 people, professional services, who are people who have to eat what they kill. So it was financial consultants, attorneys, accountants, people like that.
Okay. That's awesome. Wow. Well, that's
And she
great.
came back and said, I can do that. I can go to meetings and network, and I can meet with people and talk about what we do. So,
Well, that's great, John. That's awesome. All right. My next question. What do you think hinders a lot of men today from reaching their full potential?
well, I don't think it's just men, but I will say, balance of low, shall we say, their confidence level and their self-esteem level.
Yeah.
To take risks, you have to take risks to grow.
Right.
You have to do
And
things out of your comfort zone. Uh, we've tried things in our business and they didn't work. Different line of, maybe a little additional service or something like that. You move on. You don't say
right.
I failed. You say, I found something that didn't work. We'll try something else.
Right. When I go through this with the podcasters that I've been talking and have some conversation with, I try to say, use your failures as growth instead of a negative.
Yeah,
Okay. See what you can do when you had that and you had that failure. What can I do to get past that? Or what can I do to change something that's going to make me more successful?
that's right. And
And what do you think of also the social media distractions?
it is annoying, when you meet with someone, or you're in a group meeting and people can't put their phones away. Uh, it it's a time suck.
Yep.
It it's definitely, I think it's been proven over and over that a lot of these things, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat or else, is just a lot of it's fantasy land, and
I was
people
just,
want
yes.
to be in that fantasy land, but uh, they can't get there, so they feel like they're not worthy. Yet most of what they see isn't real anyway.
Right. Okay. So what I'm saying, that shiny object thing, where they're not confident in what they want to do and and they get swayed by something. Okay.
That's
Like
right.
somebody will say, well, I can do this quicker, better, faster, but it really doesn't work that way. I mean, being an entrepreneur, you put time in, you got to do the work to do this. There's no such thing as easy road. It's my opinion.
Yeah. You talked about learning from your failures. Well, Daniel Pink wrote a book called The Power of Regret. What do you regret in your life? And, how do you learn from it and move forward, not
Right.
just wallow in the in self-pity.
Exactly. I totally agree, man. Okay. Next question, John. For most men on the road to business or professional success, other areas of their life get sacrificed. Okay. What's been one of the areas of your life that may have suffered, but where would you like to be successful now, too? So there's a two-part question there. Like, what areas of your life, if there was been, that sacrifice as you were building your business 30 years ago, and has it transitioned differently, or is it, and where would you like to be successful now? Is there something that you would like to be?
Uh, I think the first question is, along the journey of what I'm doing now, I got involved with a startup in a similar field, and between the day-to-day and that startup. I won't say my health suffered, but my physical condition suffered. And I've always been a guy who likes to exercise and work out. Uh, and for a while there, I was doing some besides my day-to-day business, I was doing some traveling, and my weight went up 20 pounds.
Wow.
And got to the point I hired a trainer, and I remember the first time I was with him, he says, "How's your balance?" I go, "Pretty good." He says, "Well, do this," and I could barely do it. Now I can do, yeah, if skaters on a Bosu ball like nothing.
Right.
So
Oh,
you have to take care of yourself.
yeah.
That's
So,
what suffered for a while, but then I recognized it.
right. Okay. Awesome. Okay. And what about the successful thing? Is there some area that you'd like to be successful at right now?
Well, success is defined in many ways, and money is one of them, earning a living. But it's also how you help people. We feel in our business, we are helping someone. If we help a business owner sell their business, they are getting rewarded for all the sweat and toil they put in over the years.
Right.
At the same time, the buyer is on a big journey. They're not only, they're paying the seller, and in many cases, it's the retirement fund. But for that buyer, if it's an individual, they're no longer working in the corporate world. If it's a professional buyer, like private equity, they are doing what they are getting paid to do. So, and along the way, I think you always have to do the right thing.
Right.
You have to put your client or prospective client ahead of you. And I'll give you two quick examples. We are
Love it.
working on a deal now. We had a buyer, we had a signed offer, but the business was growing so fast it was outpacing that offer. And our client said to us, "Are we leaving money on the table?" You know, I know a lot of people who would say, "No, you ought to get this thing closed." And I
Right.
said, "Yes, you are." And we pulled the deal, regrouped, went back on the market, and I'll tell you, just recently, the first indication on price is almost double where we were at.
Really?
Yeah, because the
Wow.
business is growing very nicely. And there's another little example for my daughter. She got a referral as a prospective client. She asked him enough questions, and he said, "Well, what should I do?" And she said, "I would pass on what you want to do. I wouldn't, the timing is not right. The situation isn't right." She could have said, "Hire us and we'll go through it." And that would have been a waste of that person's money.
Right. So, I mean, you've gained trust like crazy right there.
Yeah. And her referral source knows about it and knows what she did and did the right thing.
Wow. See, that's awesome. I mean, that's real life stuff right there. I mean, that's how you gain the trust of clients.
Yeah.
Because down the road, he might be in a conversation with somebody. You never know where the conversations lead or where you are, and bang, first thing you're going to think of is you.
That's, that's besides taking care of that person, that's the secondary goal.
Now, just going back to, and I just curious, why is the guy selling if it was going so good?
Oh, age.
Okay.
It's two owners, age. Been at
Okay.
it a long, long time.
And you doubled their money then just by
Well, we
holding it.
well we haven't done anything yet, but we will almost. I would expect we're going to come close to doubling what we were originally going to get. And what they were originally going to get was not a bad deal.
Right.
The company's been growing like crazy, and the interesting thing that I learned as we were going through this was when things were slow after COVID, they did not get rid of people, so they ate it. So when they grew, it all went to the bottom line.
Okay.
So they
Wow.
did it. It's not like they had to go out and hire a bunch of people and everything's, you know, stayed the same percentages. They had the labor that was underutilized.
Wow. That's not immense. Well, there's going to be another great referral.
Yeah.
I mean, when they tell people that they almost double it, they know what they're doing. Okay. That's awesome. My next question, John, is this. I don't know how many hours, if you're working a lot of hours in a week or, you got a lot of things going on at one time or whatever, but where do you find yourself at peace?
Well, I would say it's a combination of as I mentioned, I do like to exercise. I feel I need to, want to. I feel better after I do it, especially now in allergy season. I go exercise and it does seem to clear out those pollens. We walk our two dogs almost every day. It's a rare day we don't walk them, and usually it's either schedule or weather. And and you're not working when you walk your dogs.
Your mind is shut off.
Yeah, and I don't take my phone most of the time.
Okay.
So those are a couple of things.
Okay. Do you have a routine of some sort?
What do you mean by routine?
Routine in the mornings or some like non-negotiables that you have to do most every day. Like some people get up at 5 and then they go to the gym and then they drink their coffee. They have some meditation. They have, anything like that.
Yeah, I'm more of an late afternoon guy to work out. We usually walk our dogs late in the day. Now I'm in the kind of business I can do what I want when I want.
Okay.
So if I take the dogs out for a walk at 1 o'clock for an hour or so,
So you can just do that.
big deal.
Right.
If I read someone's what they sent me or I put a proposal together at 9 at night, nobody cares. And it's not like I'm tied to the 8 to 5 with an hour
Right.
lunch.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
you have to have that, I have the flexibility. You probably have that
Do
flexibility
you have
too.
hours? So you're saying you don't have hours, like set hours that you go in at 9 and clock out at,
No.
even though your own business, you could do it at 9 o'clock at night. You don't mind that.
Yeah, I did last night. I came in and I had decided to print off something. It wasn't actually, it's a offer on a business. I printed it out so I could read it first thing in the morning. But normally I get up. I do like coffee, but I do not like coffee right when I get up. It doesn't sit well. So I get up. We feed the dogs. I get the Wall Street Journal, glance through the Wall Street Journal, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. My last question, John, is this. If you were to give one piece of advice to other men that are starting out on their journey of achieving success or their businesses, what would that be? Is it different from what in the beginning? That one piece of advice that.
Yeah, it's a combination. I think you could put this together, but it's be yourself and do the right thing. So don't try to be like someone
Else.
on TV, social media, at work. Be yourself, your personality. And I made that mistake when I started out. My friend who got me into it is a completely different personality than me. And he's very, you would call him a 1960s sales type, very pushy.
Oh,
I can't do that to save
no.
money. And I thought at first, well, I got to be like him. That's what you do in this business. And I learned real quick, I can't be like him real quick, which
Right.
probably wouldn't be in this business if I hadn't learned that.
Right.
So be yourself and do what's right.
Sounds simple enough, doesn't it?
Usually it's simple that is best. Isn't that Occam's razor? The simplest solution is usually the best solution.
You got it. Well, John, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. Okay. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on. Your insights were great. My audience is going to eat this up. Okay. I've taken a lot of advice from you today. And that was awesome. I mean, I love getting that perspective. And as a reminder to everyone who's listening, this show is brought to you by the Prime Performance Method, where I help high-performing men rebuild strength, energy, and confidence without sacrificing their careers. If you're ready to feel as strong in your body as you are successful in your business, message me at John Fayocavitz on LinkedIn. Until our next episode, perform strong in all areas of your life.